Are encouraged.
Where do I go?
We got a cup of coffee in here, please.
Fact checking. Friday. That's where I go. It's Friday.
Damn good coffee and hot.
Damn good coffee and hot. Good morning. 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 Morning. It's Friday. Listen, for the first time in 5 years, I understand the joy of Friday because I've actually had to leave my house, get up early. Well, getting up early, this is early for me. So I've been getting up early for over a year now with the coffee with the dog nonsense. But actually leaving the house and, like Carl says, washing behind your head, brushing your teeth, leaving the house 5 days in a row. It's like I'm a whole new person. Anyway, it's Friday, September 23rd, 2022. I hope you're having a wonderful day and getting ready for a wonderful weekend. It's a little bit chilly here in the Northeast today. I woke up, had to shut some windows. It was actually damn cold at 7 o'clock this morning. Anyway, today it's going to be a short day for me. I have to get into New York City. I'm still working on this project. Jackie, the joke man, Martling, will be with Zach today. Zach's here now. Let's bring in Zach and say good morning to Mr. Wiseman from your mic is muted. You mute.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing very well. Yeah, it's weird. I woke up this morning and usually it's bright and gorgeous or obviously midnight or something here, but it's very misty and foggy here. It looks crazy. Yeah, I don't like not seeing the mountains.
Yeah. So you know what? How could anybody who lives? I was thinking about this on my ride yesterday because you have this flat Earth guy who lives in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Denver, of all places, how could anybody think the world is flat?
Yeah.
You just look around and say, "Well, that's not flat at all."
No, no, it's definitely up and down here. There's no flat at all. It's gorgeous, but I'm so excited to talk to that guy. I started writing down questions, and I told my friends, I'm like, "Hey, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask a flat earther, hit me with them." So
well, he's going to try to monopolize it. He's going to
cool.
He's going to want to give you his TED talk.
Oh yeah,
and that's going to be a constant struggle is to try to remind him that you're the host and he's the guest and all.
that's
that
okay. My dad always said, "Hey, when people start taking rope, give it to them. They'll probably hang themselves."
Yeah,
So
he's tricky though. He's going to run some Abbott and Costello math on you, and he's going to owe you $27 and keep trying to pay you 13 with this. Look, this is how it adds up. You know that old bit.
that's good. I'm so excited.
Yeah, but so now I'm going to run a gambling operation here and have people taking bets on will he convince Zach that the earth is flat, and I'm going to put some odds on this and see how the money goes.
Yeah.
And start taking bets on it. What do you think the odds of him convincing you the world is flat are?
See, here's the thing. Normally, I would say 0%. There's no way someone can convince me something so ridiculous. But honestly, I'm a compassionate person. I'm a sensitive person, and I like when things just work and get along. So maybe for the sake of conversation, I might be convinced. I have no idea. I sincerely doubt it. I am a science first person, so I sincerely doubt it. But you never know. The thing about doing all these presentations is sometimes people can talk straight nonsense, and it's like, all right, I love that person. I'm in.
Yeah. Well, and so he basically one of the things he has problems with, and I don't want to spoil it for you too much, but one of the things he has problems with is scale and huge numbers. So when he talks about the size of the Earth And he'll talk about it. Well, we're spinning at 10,000 miles an hour. Then, according to science, we're spinning at 10,000 miles an hour. Wouldn't something spinning at 10,000 miles an hour? Wouldn't you feel that? And of course, that sounds logical. That's a logical argument. But when you look at the scale of the universe and the scale of the size of planet Earth, maybe not so much. So those are kind of issues he has. But I'm sure it's going to go well, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to get. Well, first of all, you're going to get a lot of attention that day. You're going to get a lot of listeners. The chat room is going to be filled up,
Perfect.
and then you personally are going to. You better have a fake email or a new email address to have hate mail for.
I'll give them my real phone number. They can text me. See, there's the reason that I do mostly improv comedy is because I am not able to write jokes. I am only able to backlash. I am only able to come back to people when they speak to me. So I thrive in conversation, and I love negativity coming at me. So this is nothing but good news. It might as well be my birthday right now.
What I have to disagree with you on one because one you set up yesterday on the girl with the who contacted you said, "What neck of the woods are you from?" Hey, I didn't mean that you actually live in the woods. That was not a comeback. That was you setting up a joke, and it was fucking hysterical.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's a comeback, sometimes it's a quick lob, so the comeback is harder later on. So, yeah, sometimes I'll set them up either way.
But to your point about yesterday, you don't need to have. I don't ever have bits lined up to kill for time here. I talk with those people over there. I will go through like the news and just point out little absurdities. There's conversation starters in the news and stuff like that. Shit, you could just talk about that. Well, that's frigging weird.
Sure.
Like the other day, I was on the Michelle Branch thing. She had her husband Pat Carney arrested. No, Pat Carney had her arrested for beating him up. Now she's 5'2" and 105 pounds, and he's 6'3", and he had her arrested for beating him up. And so that's a great conversation starter, and you get people with opinions. Mine was just like a guy, 6'3" guy. There's no reason you should get beat up by a 5'2".
Disagree.
You could run away.
Disagree completely.
What? Just run away.
I'm 6'4". All right. I'm 6'4". My sprint speed is not what it used to be. Someone who's 5'2" and
but she's not going to chase you. What if 3 steps?
Look, if you're going to fight, if you're going to fight me, if you're going to come to physical measures because you're so angry at something I've said that you need to hit me, you're going to chase me, and that's it. And I'm going to make you chase me because I'm not just going to stand there and get hit, but you're going to chase me around.
This was over him cheating on her, which is also weird because
he deserves it.
And she's so far out of his league to begin with. He should have been thanking his lucky stars that he scored a beautiful rock star wife.
True.
And he's cheating on her. Of course, he deserved it.
But in all fairness, if you get caught cheating on your wife, she's allowed to beat the shit out of you. That's it. Like they are allowed to fight you, and you can't do anything. Don't run. Just take it. If you're dumb enough to cheat, and then you're dumber enough to get caught, just take the beating. Like get on Facebook Live and take a crowd shaming ass kicking. That's it.
You're absolutely right. That would monetize that sucker.
That's it. Make some money on it.
But also, I agree. He deserved it. But the point, he called the cops on it. Now that's what that's like. Come on, you got to have no self-esteem to call the cops and say, "Listen, my wife just beat me up."
Yeah,
please come and arrest her.
That's literally his only move to save face with his boys later on. It's like, but she got arrested though. Like that's the best he's got. So he's trying to save face.
It wouldn't be saving face with saving grace with me. Anything. I would be like, dude, just let it go. You don't call the cops once you've been, beat up by your wife.
No, honestly, if you get beat up and in your soul it was your fault, you don't call anybody. You take it and you go home and you cry in the shower like every grown adult man does.
Yeah. Good morning, Jess. Jess is in the
Yay!
chat room.
Hey, Kelly's here. We had a weird time yesterday. And no, it was not that I needed bits. It was full disclosure. I didn't know that I was going to be alone at all. Like not even a little bit. So
Oh,
and I don't mind.
you almost weren't. Just as you went to the ending and music, Jamie was logging in, and he's gone.
Nah.
Yeah.
Well, I did play the ending thing 3 times, so we had a good time with that.
Oh, also there are videos that you can play whenever you want. Now, a lot of it is my music and stuff, but you could load videos in. You could play, just take a break and say, "I want to play this video for you," or anything you got.
Oh, cool.
Like what Jackie is coming on today.
Yeah.
And what I have for Jackie is a promise that I will always promote his TikTok page. So I'm going to do that right now. Let's go here. Wait, where is it? Oh, it's a little slow there.
Oh, wow.
And if I come here and just hit play, no, TikTok is not playing. You know what? Because I'm doing this from 2 different computers, maybe?
A little old lady standing at the bar. Little old guy comes up and says, "Can I buy you a drink?" She says, "I'd like that." They're having a drink and they get done. He says, "Can I buy you another drink?" She says, "I'd like that." So they're having a couple drinks. He's got his arm around her. He's got his nose behind her ear, kind of snuggling. He says, "You want to go back to my place?" She says, "I'd like that." So they'll walk along. On the way, she says, I think I should tell you something. I have arthritis." He said, "Well, so what? We're old. Little arthritis doesn't bother me." Arthritis. You get to the guy's house, sit on the couch, start making out. Next thing you know, they're French kissing, giving each other hickeys, really going hot and heavy. He puts his hand up the back of her blouse, unhooks her bra with one hand like a good 8th grader, and the boobies full. And all of a sudden he reaches over and she reaches. The next thing you know, these 2 old timers are naked on the living room floor, and he goes down on her. And it's horrible. He's like, what the hell's going on down here? It smells terrible. She says, "Well, I told you on the way over I have arthritis." Is that what arthritis smells like down here? She says, "No, I got it in my shoulder. I can't wipe my ass."
Anyway, man. So it would be good if, just to let Jackie know that we're playing his TikTok for him every once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Promoting that. That's what Jackie is an invaluable resource. He's a good friend and a friend of the show, and I think he will. He said he can do 10 to 11 today. He's got to get to a doctor's appointment, a therapist's appointment right after. So anyway, so that's basically. But basically you can fill the thing with anything. I just fucking ramble on about whatever's on my mind, but you can do whatever you want.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll be here at 10 today. And oftentimes Carl will just pop in, especially if he sees you just like, I got nothing to talk about. I'm just here. Now, David, who was supposed to be the guest yesterday, he had the flu. And because I sent him the link late, he didn't get up to check because he checked the night before and there was no link. He just assumed we were up. He'll be Thursday. I'm rescheduling him. The big thing, though, big thing on the schedule is Wednesday morning with the Flat Earth guy. I got him coming on at 10 o'clock to prime the chat room and basically get them all fired up ready to argue with him. I would suggest to everybody who's listening right now, if you're going to be in the chat room on Wednesday morning when Zach takes on the king of all flat earthers, do a little homework. Go to Professor Dave and see what Dave's got videos on. 10 things all flat earthers say and why they make no sense and all that kind of stuff. I will put links in there over the weekend. So
yeah,
that's it.
I'm into all that. I am so pumped. I'm gonna probably write a dissertation that I'm gonna read to this. I have no idea. I'm like, my body is like electric with how excited I am.
You're gonna be famous or infamous in the flat Earth world after Wednesday, and
finally,
you know what? You're gonna get a lot of hate, but it's imbecile hate. So I don't mind getting, because somebody was talking to me last night about somebody who is spoofing spoofing my friend, and I'm involved in it. But he said, it's so stupid. Why do you even care about it? I was like, that's exactly right. I mean, people that stupid,
Yeah.
let them hate.
Yeah, let them hate. And honestly, the more hate they get, it's just better content for my social feeds. Because more people that text me stupid stuff, it just gets me more likes and more visibility. So bring it. That's fine.
Yeah, what do they call it? Your edge score on Facebook or something like that. Yeah, they will definitely drive that up, whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, I'm way up there. And yeah, Kelly's right. Jackie is kind of adorable in like a weird I just made this man out of wood kind of way.
Yeah.
Like he looks like a I mean, I love Jackie. Jackie was like one of my like when I was growing up and going to high school, I remember like taping the Howard Stern show on the radio with my Walkman, just recording it and then listening it back like, on the ride home and just hearing Jackie, and he's like just in the forefront of comedy.
Yeah.
But now he's an adorable old puppet of a man.
Yeah.
I love it.
He's the same age as Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen is 73 today. I just that was one thing that was trending, which is weird. I don't know if you saw the pictures last week that were out, but
Oh, I did.
Springsteen looks a lot like Woody Allen now.
Yeah, that is a little crazy. But I would still hang out with Springsteen over Woody Allen.
Yeah. Oh, well, Jackie. One time, Jackie was on the program, and he shared a photo of a party he was at. Woody Allen, Bill Cosby, Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, every pervert under the sun. This was before any of them had been exposed. And it's like,
Yeah.
and he was going on talking about it being at this party. I was like, what was it? It was at Ellen DeGeneres' house, and she stepped away to go beat an intern up or something. But then,
so in between shots of adrenochrome, I said to her, I said, I should go down here.
And he originally started as he wanted that TikTok thing to be clean. Now it's just dirty old man jokes. It's just
yeah, that makes sense. Well, because he's sitting in a bar and he's looking at people. He goes, "Oh, that's a good joke."
No, that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like you walked into a dirty old man bar. Like,
yeah,
you can smell the urine the minute you click on his TikTok page. It's like, it smells like urine and beer here. What the hell?
yeah. It's like every joke has to come with an elbow saying, "Hey, look at her."
Yes. So I have to leave early. I have to run, man.
No, that's fine.
I got to get into New York City. I appreciate you being here, and I'm loving that you're doing this, and I think everybody else is too. And I hope you enjoy it.
Oh yeah, I like talking, and I like talking to people. And so far, people, especially like Kelly, because Kelly's always right. That's what I've been saying for at least 24 hours now. But as long as Kelly hangs out, well, I'll be here.
Well, Kelly will ask you to get naked before the day is over. I guess
she has done so many times yesterday, and I did it. I did it. Unfortunate video was on, but I did it. I shed a lot of hair taking my shirt off.
And if somebody like Jess, if she was available for a few minutes to step in, you could always send her a link and say, "Come on and talk to me for 5 or 10 minutes." And but anybody like Mike Zinn might be able to do that. He's here now. Good morning, Mike. William Conway. You can send any of these people a link. Well, most of you have to friend them on Facebook or on Twitter or something to send them a DM, to send them a link, and they can join the conversation for a few minutes. Anything you need to do to pass the time.
Cool.
All right, I'm out of here. Have a good day. And I'm going to be doing before I leave, I'm going to be doing a Sunday morning special edition Coffee with the Dog. Anybody who wants to pop in at that time, just to keep my hands in it. And with you, are you around at all this weekend?
Yeah, probably. What day? You said Saturday?
Well, it doesn't matter because this is not related to the coffee thing that I'm going to be doing on Sunday. Although you're free to pop in on that as well. I want to talk to you and Dylan and what's his name, Mike, the other guy.
Yeah, Michael here.
About the nighttime show, because I'm almost ready to kick off the nighttime show. I have a lot of people interested in helping out, being writers and contributing to the thing, and I just want to put out the ideas, get some feedback, and get some movement happening on that. I think that could be a really, really different type of live stream show.
Yeah, that
And
sounds cool.
so if you're around, maybe we can meet sometime this
Oh,
weekend.
absolutely, yeah.
All right, cool.
I'm either writing or trying to make somebody giggle, so I'm almost always around.
I love that, man. Keep making them giggle, and I look forward to seeing some texts.
Adios.
Today. All right, have a great day.
You too,
Bye.
man. Thanks. All right, let's see what's going on in this chat before I get into what I was going to talk about. Good morning, sir. Be careful driving and texting or Facebooking. I think it's still legal to drive in Facebook. I know you can't text at all, but Facebooking's fine. Yeah, goodbye, Matt. Get out of here. Oh, also, so FPV. Full disclosure, you said yesterday that I should start an FPV podcast, and I said that I would, and then I had to look that up because I didn't know what that was. And it turns out that stands for first person view. And let me tell you, if there was a first person view of a podcast, it would be absolutely stupid, because the only thing that I'm looking at is too many lights, my laptop, and a very stupid picture of Superman. So it would be the same thing, just I guess a better view. I have no idea. And once again, hashtag Kelly's Right is always trending on MySpace and everything else that I'm posting currently on, Flip Flop and all those. Anything I can find old men talking about women and their aromas is where you can find me posting stuff. But yeah, so apparently after yesterday, there were, oh my goodness, celebrity Just Paul's here. Hey, Just Paul, I miss you. You're great. So yesterday, because I left a little bit early, people sent in a lot of questions that they wanted to ask that I just wasn't here for. So I'm going to go over some of those, and if you have any questions whatsoever, and I'm known to answer every question that there has ever been. I'm also a pretty decent liar, but either way, so here's some of the random questions that apparently people wanted to ask yesterday, but I wonder if these are supposed to be for the guests yesterday. I don't care. I'm going to answer them anyway. If this was for the guest yesterday, then I'll ask him when he's on next week. But if you want to know this, here's some of the random questions that I got. None of which came from Kelly, by the way. Somebody said, "What do you like doing in your spare time?" Easy. Nothing. It's spare. I think that's why you do that. Tweet you an example of how we do it. All right, I gotta check that out. That's Twitter. Who is your celebrity crush? So that's an odd one, because usually I would say Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. That is a man that I think about way too often, and not in the right things if they're religious. But if you've seen a movie called RRR on Netflix, then you'll know that my new celebrity crush is a gentleman named Ram, and he is beautiful, full mustache, side parts, also long hair. I don't know, sometimes got a bow and arrow, but yeah, probably Yahya though. I think that man is he's something, just absolutely something. Am I single? No, I'm not. I'm happily married. My wife's name is Suzanne. She is constantly annoyed at me because I'm always throwing something weird at her. Usually it's Nerf balls that are covered in jelly. You answered my question. 6 foot fur. That's me. 6 foot fur. That's a joke at the bar that I go to. Let's see. How would someone get your special attention? I don't know. I don't even know if I have special attention. I have ADHD, and I think that means that all of my attention is special. So really, pay attention to me, and that's how you get something out of me. That's it. What has been your best/worst date? So okay. So my best date, I guess, is kind of a weird, dumb one. I was at a bar with somebody, and they seemed really bored, which is crazy. And they said, the idea of a perfect date, which is probably the worst thing to hear while having a date, because I'll let you know that it's way stinky. And like, I just want to just go see like a Star Wars movie and talk the entire way through it and talk about how shitty it is. And I'm like, this is about to be the best date ever. So yeah, we went and saw Star Wars. We sat in the same theater and saw the same movie 3 times in a row. And then I married her, and I don't think she knows yet that she's married to me because she thought that was a joke. Bro, you're lucky. If I threw a Nerf ball with jelly on at my wife, she'd probably break my nose. Yep, what? I can run faster than her, and that's it. I'm not gonna fight her. I'll just keep throwing Nerf balls of jelly. But she likes jelly, so it's a lot of like a tit for tat, really, because she's like, hey, stop. Hey, stop throwing these things at me. Let's see. Would you date a fan? No, because then you have to like carry an extension cord with you everywhere, or like have batteries or something. And like, what do you do with a fan? Like, they just like rotate and they do blow. So that's fine. What would you change your name to? Nothing, literally nothing at all. How tall is my wife? She's 5'6". Yeah, I think she's 5'6". I actually don't even know where she is right now. She's she's not over there. Yeah, 5'6" or 5'8" maybe. Change my name. No, I absolutely love my name. For some reason, Zach Wiseman. Yeah, it's my name. So I've heard it the whole time, my whole life. But I think that Zach Wiseman just feels right for me. And my middle name, which starts with the letter F, is the coolest name ever. And if anyone can guess it, I will send them a special prize in the mail. It is a name that starts with the letter F. My dad gave it to me, and he's a weirdo. So Zachary F. Wiseman. My biggest pet peeve. I don't think I have pet peeves. I have people peeves. Most pets I'm cool with. Whatever. They're fine. They're just animals. I have a lot of people peeves, so we'll just skip past that. What's your annoying habit? I cannot stand silence. That is one of my. So I'm constantly talking because I feel that other people feel the awkwardness that I feel in the silence, and I feel that it's my duty. It's my duty, really, to fill that silence with just some nonsense, really, or movie quotes. So yeah, I would say that my most annoying habit is the need to keep talking. I cannot stop talking. It's such a hard thing to do. Let's see. Also, for some reason, like once every 2 months, I bite my fingernails, and I don't know why. I'm not more stressed out those times. I just sometimes I look down and go, "Oh wow, my nails are long," and then I'll cut them, and then sometimes I'm like, "Oh, my nails are long." So that's just stupid. Let's see here. Flatulent. I will. Is that a command? Is that how you say it? It's flatulent. No. Let's see. Fabian. But Fabian's my boss. No joke. And that name is only for sexy Colombian men. Flatulent? I've never heard anyone with that name. That's cool. Fantabulous. Yep, I agree. And fantastic. Also concurred. Let's see. Who is your inspiration for this show? I'll say Matt Napo, because I didn't have this show or have an idea about the show until I met him, and then when he asked me to be on this. What's my inspiration for podcasting? Probably Michael Colby. Something about the Jack Billings is stupid, but I absolutely love it. Also we have one of William Conway's most annoying habits is Flubber, and these are my middle name guesses. Okay, and it's 5 letters. Flubber, Zachary Flubber Wiseman. I feel like that one might have been a bit of a dig, but I'm gonna get. Dude, if my middle name was Francis Ferdinand, that would be awesome. Frankfurter. No, that was my high school nickname, and that was. Well, we'll get into that soon. Frank. No, that is not correct. Okay, do I speak any other languages? I don't. I don't speak them, but I definitely understand Spanish. I spent many years owning and operating many restaurants. I actually had 5 restaurants in Maryland and Delaware, and because of these There's so many just people yelling at me, so I had to learn Spanish. That, that must be it. Let's see. One of these has got to be it. No, I can promise you, my middle name is not Fantabulous or Flubber or Frankfurter. It is 5 letters long. Starts with an F. Let's see. Well, you must get on with Zach. My heart will explode and I'll die with laughter. Will you must get on with Zach? My heart will explode and I'll die from laughter. I feel like I'm reading this wrong. Will you must get on with Zach? Will you must get on with Zach? Will you must get on with Zach? My heart will explode. I honestly, I'm not sure. Get on with what? This is the show, I think. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I know. I was just kidding. Trust me, I have thick skin, and it's probably diabetes. I have no idea. Either way, you can't cut it. Zach. Oh, that would be so cute if my middle name was Faith, but it's not. But I will tell you, you have 3 of those letters correct. Feifel. Oh, nope. But we are looking at the same moon. If I'm looking out there, I can trust you're looking at moving. On with the show. Yeah, I don't. This is probably it. I have no idea. LOL. That stands for something. Let's see. Will, you must get on. Oh, that's like a command from your wife. I get that. I get that now. Oh, she was talking to Will. See, that's honestly, that's rude of me to assume that these comments are for me. And I will not make that mistake going forward. Let's see. So do you speak another language? I can fumble around Spanish. I took 7 years of the exact same French class in high school because I failed it a lot. But I can say, voici mon pantalon, which is here are my pants. Yay. Hey, thanks, man. If you weren't famous, what would you be up to right now? I am D-level Facebook famous. Honestly, if I wasn't doing anything, I'd be doing something else. I do write a lot of scripts in my spare time, so hopefully I'll be able to make a movie. But this is really why I talk so much. Thank you, Will. Knows I'm slow. Thank you, Will. Knows I'm slow. I'm perfect for the commune. That is true. I'm not sure what you're communing, but you are perfect for it. I took Spanish 1 twice. Oh, sick. So you get it. Oh my God, I took an entire quarter of my life learning French. I don't seriously. From like I think it was like 6th grade until like 11th grade. I did not care to learn more than French too, and I just kept failing it, and I kept needing it for some reason. I should have taken Spanish, because I think it's easier. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm not dumb. Like I can learn stuff, I guess. I speak enough Korean or Russian to get laid or I don't understand that, but that makes me laugh a lot. I feel like if you're speaking Russian, most likely somebody thinks that you're angry at them. Where would I like to visit? I would like to see the Northern Lights, I guess. So Alaska sounds cool. Also like Sweden. I don't know. I want to visit anywhere really. Currently, I want to go visit the kitchen. I'm a little hungry. It's early here. Who is the messiest person I know? Yeah, my wife, 100%. She leaves those jelly Nerf balls all over the house, and like, well, you threw them. Like, well, they were at you, so you should have caught them. So it's her, it's her fault. What's the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week? Honestly, the Adam Levine thing is ridiculous. It's so stunning to me that people have like a lot of lives, and they have so much money and they can do all this stuff. And they still like want more, but then people are like, wait, they're human? they do dumb shit too? Well, they have money. How do they do dumb stuff? But I mean, those tweets are fine, it's like, or his messages like, oh, your body's sick. Okay, dude, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it is frustrating to me to see that all these like things are just like, oh, your body is this and you look hot. And it's like, well, you probably have more than just visuals, but you are cheating on your wife. So what do I expect? I have no idea. All right. What would you like to be remembered about you? My middle name. I think that's it, really. There's one thing I want to go down with. It's people knowing I knew that guy's middle name. He was right. It was somewhat unique. What is one message you would give to your fans? Drink water. Seriously, drink some effing water. Like if you're listening to this right now and you have the ability to grab some water and drink it, people are so dehydrated out there. 80% of back pain and headaches are due to dehydration. It's stunning to me that people don't drink. And I think water is free for the most part, unless you're in. Actually, I'm not going to get into that one at all. What's your favorite movie? This is such a weird question for someone like me because I grew up so my first job was at a my first job was working illegally at a restaurant for my grandmother. My first real job was at a Blockbuster Video, and I worked there until they were not cool anymore. And then I went to a Regal Cinema. So movies kind of like sculpted my life a little bit. I've always been around them. And if you see all this BS behind me, it's almost all movie related. But I will say, favorite movie. Favorite movie this year has to be Everything Everywhere All at Once. I thought that movie was compelling in a beautiful way, and it made me want to have a better relationship with my daughter. So that was very, very cool for me. And I think that just the stylistic approach to that movie was just gorgeous. And yeah, it really struck me. Tad long, but it really struck me. The movie Parasite is such a well done movie, and I think that to me that is the peak of cinema. So Parasite and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Hey, solid guess though. Freak. Nope. You have 2 letters correct. Faker. No, you have 1 letter correct. Let's see. What's your favorite song? Honestly, don't have one. I don't like music. I don't like music. I don't listen to music. And I think it might have come back to like when I worked in restaurants. So like music was kind of just something that was on for people to not talk to each other about. So I've never really gotten to a groove of music. I listen to a lot of didgeridoo while I'm cleaning up. So I don't really dig on the music. I just had a customer with an orange mohawk. Pretty gal. Yeah, that sounds dope. I would love to have an orange mohawk, but I'm wearing a hat and can't do it. What is your favorite clothes? This is from you, Kim. That's weird. Favorite clothes? I guess pants. Pants are probably my favorite. Uh, Anar Stanhope, who hates music. Stanhope, God, that's one of those things I gotta Google. I don't hate music per se. It hasn't done. There's like actually, okay. So my favorite song is Angel by Aerosmith, and it's because So I grew up in a very poor part of Maryland, Northeast Maryland at the time. It was very bad. If you're doing any research on history, it's an awful, awful, awful place. But I remember my grandmother owned like a bar, and she didn't really help out with my part of the family, but whatever. So she always had like this sack of like quarters. So I remember grabbing like a handful of quarters and always going to like this arcade, which was in the town. And there's like 3 things in the town. It's like a Dollar General, this homeless man, and then an arcade, and just have like a handful of quarters. And I just ran to the arcade, and that's right when like Mario Brothers became like an arcade game or something. I remember playing Mario, Super Mario Brothers, and just so many quarters in. And the guy had like a record player, and he would always play the same Aerosmith album over and over again. But for some reason, it seemed like whenever I was doing the best at video games, Angel from Aerosmith was on. So whenever I hear Angel by Aerosmith, it takes me back to being a shoeless 8-year-old trying to play Super Mario Bros. Fruit. Nope. You have 1 correct letter. Nope, 2. Sorry, 2. Okay. Favorite clothes, pants. That's easy peasy. What is the weirdest thing someone has ever done for me? Weirdest thing someone's ever done for me. Okay, so I used to bartend at a place in Wilmington, Delaware. It was a cool little brewery. Um, Frankie. Frankie is 6 letters, and you have 2 letters correct. So I worked at this one bar, and I was like the bar manager of this place. And it was like a brewery, so it was the nicer places of Wilmington, Delaware. Zach Fabian Wiseman. Nope. Uh, 1 letter correct. So I was the bar manager of this place, and like if you were a celebrity of any regard and you were in Delaware for whatever reason, most likely you went to this restaurant. So I was working this restaurant, and they're like, "Hey, tomorrow there's going to be a motorcycle jump. Robbie Knievel, Evil Knievel's son, is going to jump $1 million tomorrow because there's a bank cross street." And Ferris? No, that's cute though. You have 1 letter correct. So anyway, so the next day, Robbie Knievel came and they were setting up like this fake money thing. And they go, "Oh, also to like a joint thing, we're going to have Robbie Knievel bartend. So that way, if Fred, no, not correct. 2 letters correct. So I met Robbie Knievel, and then I had to like, I guess, train him on how to bartend. Everybody just stand with him while he bartends. But he was trashed and he was just like throwing Jack Daniels all over the bar, and like his fake biker friends were there, and he's like, splashing Jack Daniels all over the bar. And I'm like, "Hey man, you really can't do this. It's kind of like a family place. You really can't do this." And he's like, "I'm Robbie Knievel. I'll jump anything." And I'm like, "That's really cool, but you just can't do this." And he's like, "I'll pay for it. You know what? I'm out of here, whatever." And I thought I was going to get in trouble because like Robbie Knievel just quit bartending. So he like went out to his tour bus, which was outside, and like a half an hour later, there's a phone call, and it was Robbie Knievel from the tour bus, and he ordered one of everything on the menu. And I guess it was like to be like a jerk move or a flex. I have no idea. But he orders one of everything on the menu, and he's like, "But the only thing is, I need Zach to bring it out." I'm like, "Oh God!" So I had to carry like all these bags of shit out to his tour bus, and his tour bus was like a mid '80s like Poison video. Um, Oh, Paul's the story. Fifth. No, not correct. You have 2 letters correct. I've got an odd, uncommon middle name as well. Was granddad's first name and father's middle name. Well, if it sounds like a riddle, I'm going to say Philip. Did you say Faith has 3 letters? I did. You're probably going to get it then. So I carry these bags out to this, poison-esque tour bus, and like there's, like girls with frizzy frazzle hair everywhere, and like there's old dudes like half sleeping, and he's like, "Thanks for bringing this food out." And I'm like, "Hey, no problem. I mean, you asked me to, so I kind of had to, but hey, no problem." And then I saw like I saw Evil Knievel's jacket, and it was like just over the back of the like the driver's seat of the tour bus. And my dad is such like an Evil Knievel fan, and I'm like, "Oh man, is there any way I could just put that jacket on, take a picture?" And he's like, "You want to wear my dad's jacket? You want to wear my dad's jacket? Will you do a line of coke off of this hooker's butt?" I'm like, "No, absolutely not." He's like, "Well, then you get the hell out of my tour bus." Um, I didn't get to wear the jacket, but he did tip me $500 for bringing that out. So, yeah, the weirdest thing that a fan has ever done for me is tried to offer some sort of oh, boo. But yeah, that's true. Fritz. My dad named me after a pornographic animated kitty cat for some reason. You Googled me. Nice. My middle name's on Google. That's weird. Oh, I guess it's probably on IMDb or something. But yes, my middle name is Fritz. I was named after a pornographic cat. My dad is hilarious, but he thinks that cops are pigs, and that's my dad. That's his views, whether I believe them or not. All right, let's see. Next question. I only have a couple of these left, and I guess we can get into news until Jackie's on. Do you like pickles? I like dill pickles, but I think bread and butter pickles are literally for psychopaths. I don't understand why someone would eat that. It's just too sweet. I don't like it. Are you good at accents? No, but for some reason my friends keep making me use them for some reason. We do a lot of voices in some of our shows. We do a show called Silicon Angels, and it's like found footage of like a sex robot IT company. And so the whole point is like these guys have these sex robots, and obviously the robots break because they use them too hard, and they need to call and get this thing fixed. So they have to call a lot of different kinds of people that just do not want to hear the nasty things they're doing to these robots. So we have like a bunch of different styles of people, but since we only had a couple of voice actors, we kept trying to do different accents. So I don't like it. I'd rather do impressions, I guess. But I'm not really even good at those. I spend way too much time practicing one, and then I get stuck in it, and then I end up talking like Christopher Walken for the rest of the day until I start singing "Baby Got Back" by Christopher Walken, and then that's usually when the accent stops. Um, let's see. What would you name your boat if you had one? Easy, C word. You got to go C word. Um, what was the best slash worst purchase you've ever made? Best purchase I ever made. I I don't know. I guess this laptop. I mean, it's brought back the most to me than I sent out. So I guess I'm going to say the laptop. What was the worst purchase you ever made? One time I was at the Denver Mile High flea market, which is one of my favorite places to go. Mile High Flea Market, because like there's always people there that just found like dinosaur bones or weird stuff. And this guy told me that he's like, "Do you want a freshly skinned muskrat?" And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Fresh muskrat, just skinned." And I'm like, what do you do with it?" And he's like, "You can eat it." And I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Just $5 a fresh muskrat, freshly skinned." I'm like, "Yeah, here's $5." And he hands me like this, like a gallon Ziploc bag of just this skinned animal. And I was so freaked out. And like my whole ride home, I'm just thinking about this Ziploc bag. And then I'm going to my kitchen, and I was a chef for a while. Like I said, I had restaurants. So like I did all parts, and I was a chef, and I cooked for a while. Um, and I'm just looking at this thing, and I've cooked all types of animals, and I just had no idea what to do with this. And then I started thinking, like, I don't even want to eat this if it was cooked properly. I don't even know what a properly cooked muskrat is. I don't know what you pair with this. And I'm someone who, I'm a big fan of the shift theory when it comes to food plating. So I want to make sure that everything works well and it has the proper height and the proper temperatures and everything. And I could not think of one thing to pair with muskrat. So I literally just I threw it away and I felt bad about it. Foley would have been funnier, like the catheter. Yeah, unfortunately I didn't get to pick it. If I would have picked it, I probably would have gone Foley, like a catheter. All right, let's see here. There's only a couple more. There's so many weird questions. Um, what ridiculous thing has someone tricked you into doing or believing? I sold Mary Kay for a little bit. I thought that I really wanted that pink Cadillac. Um, I really thought I could sell enough makeup. And then they're like, "Oh, having a male sell this makeup would be interesting because women might want." No, dude, they don't want makeup or advice from a man. They don't want that stuff. But yeah, I really tried hard to sell Mary Kay. So that was that was just a mistake. What was the dumbest way you've ever been injured? This is a weird question. So I have this problem, especially earlier when I was younger. Like if I ever saw a movie, I would just have to do things that I saw in the movie. And I remember leaving The Matrix in 1999 and being like, that was the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life. And there was what cheese and wine do you pair? Honestly, to this day, I don't know. They say it's like a swamp rat. And then I was like, well, what do you pair with rat? And I don't know. I would assume it would need to be like a red wine based cheese, something that has been soaking for quite a while. But yeah, I literally don't know. Fritz, I nailed it already. Well, I think you Googled me, so that's fine. So yeah, there was a scene in The Matrix where they jump from like one car to another car, and I was like, I can do that. So we got in like I had my friend drive my car, and then my buddy, his car, and we were at the Christiana Mall parking lot, and we were just driving side by side, going 30 miles an hour. And I got out of the passenger window, and I got on top of the car, and I jumped from one car to the other car, and I just slid off. I just slid right off, and I hit a curb, and I got pretty hurt. Um, yeah, I really messed up my elbow. So that was probably the dumbest way I've been injured, but not the funniest way I've been injured. And we might be getting to that later. Who knows? Let's see. What ridiculous thing has someone tricked you into? Oh no, I already read that one. Sorry. What's the most useless talent you have? Most useless talent. I can do this. I don't know if that's like a thing. I can kind of jam my thumb out of its socket, and I might be able to get out of handcuffs that way. I'm not really sure about that. If you're given a 1-minute ad slot during a Super Bowl, what would you fill it with? I think that I've seen Idiocracy way too many times to not just want just a full minute of somebody getting shot in the nuts, just getting kicked in the balls over and over again. I think that's hilarious. Maybe I have no idea. If you ask me tomorrow, the answer is going to be different. What would be on the gag reel of your life? I probably a lot of my failed stand-ups. People's people. Maybe it was People's Plaza. I thought it was the Christiana Mall Plaza. I'm not sure. It could have been People's Plaza. Carl Mann probably knows. He might have been there. Yeah, I tried doing so. I have this problem where I can't write jokes and tell jokes. For me, it needs to be like a full on experience. Like I need people to kind of be in this atmosphere that I've created. So I've tried different styles of stand up, and I tried this one and I thought it was funny to do like comedy that was over people's heads, but I would use an overhead projector and I would draw like stories out, and I would draw them on overhead, and that was kind of cool, but it didn't do that good. Best/worst drugs. Oh boy. There's been a couple, unfortunately. But I think the second time, this is best and worst in one story. So my cousin, who grew up as my brother, not legally, he just like grew up with me, so he's always my brother. And we wanted to do mushrooms once, and like I lived with my parents at the time, and he lived with his mom. That's why he spent a lot of time in my house. So we rented a cabin in middle of Delaware, and it was like on this lake. And we had these mushrooms, and then we had his friend, and he came with us, and he's never done mushrooms before, and I've done them maybe once, and my cousin brother, he's done them a couple times. So we're like, hey, let's just go to this cabin in the woods, and we'll just eat these mushrooms. And I was like, all right, what do we do? So we brought like board games, we brought like some CDs and like playing cards, and we stopped at Wawa on the way down, and we got subs because we'll just put like the the mushrooms in the sub. So we get to the cabin, and we check in, and there was a lady, and I remember she was like a very, very large, like tall, just broad woman, and she had like a Marlboro jacket on, and I actually stole her flashlight. Anyway, so she had this Marlboro jacket on, and Mr. Napo, how are you, sir? So we get to the campsite, and we check in, and she's like, "You guys don't have any luggage?" And we're like, "Well, no, we're just kind of hanging out, just catching up, whatever." She's like, "You guys need Percocets or anything?" No, no, we're fine. Actually, we're just looking for some privacy. We want to play some cards and listen to some music. So we get into the cabin and we just eat these eat these subs of mushrooms on it, and we're like listening to Tenacious D, and we're like, oh man, let's go outside. We should go walk outside. So we go outside, and like the second we walk out there, the woman in the Marlboro jacket walks over to us, and we are full on tripping. And I just decide to just walk the exact opposite way. So I walk towards this pond, and I left like my friend and my cousin brother, and they just started talking to her, whatever. So I went down this pond, and I remember sitting on this pier, and I was looking at this pond, and I'm like, this is just covered in like cellophane. This is just plastic wrap over top of this. And I remember like trying to touch it and whatever. And then, whatever, just had like this normal random experience, walk around the woods, trying to eat, sticks and whatever. And like by like 10 o'clock, it kind of wore off. And we're like, well, we don't want to stay here. We don't have any clothes or anything. So we we just left at like 11, at night. And the next day, I mean, it was maybe 2 days later. I remember getting a phone call. I was having dinner at my parents' house. I got a phone call, and they're like, "Hey, it's the Rangers, the forest rangers or whatever. We need to talk to you about a murder investigation." I'm like, "Oh my god, murder investigation!" So I call my brother real fast. I'm like, "Yo, man, like, what are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm driving down to the campsite. These cops need to talk to us." And I'm like, no, don't go down there. Don't go down there. We didn't do anything wrong. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. So then I call my work, and I'm like, hey, I'm supposed to come in tonight, but I think I got to go down do this thing. And they're like, what did you do? Police are called here asking about something about a murder. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. So I drive down to the to the campsite again, and they're like interrogating us hard. And they're like, what did you guys do? And we're like, we didn't do anything. We just ate subs and listened to music. And they go, well, where all the blood come from? And we're like, well, what are you talking about? And it's like, there's blood in the sink, and there's blood on the walls, and there's blood in the bathroom. And I'm like, I have no idea. No idea. We literally just sat here and ate mushrooms and tweaked a little bit, and then freaked out and left. And they're like, so where's, I forget her name, but it was the woman in the Marlboro jacket. I go, where's the woman in the Marlboro jacket? That's not what they said, but just for story's sake, I'm just going to say, where's the woman in the Marlboro jacket? And we're like, we don't know. She tried to sell us Percocets, and then she blah, blah. So we were under murder investigation for a couple days. Turns out what happened was she saw us leaving, knew that we had rented the cabin for the entire night, called her weird friends. They had some drug-fueled like rave over there. A fight broke out, a fire broke out, and then this woman, after like thinking she killed somebody, she ran from the state. The person did not die. They bled all over the place. But they really thought me and my brother had murdered at least one person. So yeah, I'll say that that's probably my best and worst drug story, because I, for a split second, thought I actually murdered someone, or that I could have. And I was like, I don't know, man. I really thought that I was just looking at that pond for quite a while, but I know I didn't like her very much. I don't think I did anything, but yeah. So yeah, that's my best / worst drug story. Let's see. This story has been great. Glad I asked. Yeah, I have literally the dumbest stories of all time. I've gotten into a fist fight with animals. I've met and been pushed by celebrities. I have the dumbest stories of all time, which is why I keep trying to do comedy, because weird things happen to me. Let's see. Where'd you grow up? So I was born in a place, Elkton, Maryland. I grew up in a town called Northeast Maryland, which, if you Google it, has a very, very bad history. It was on the wrong side of the Mason-Dixon. And then I moved to Delaware when I was like 12. And that's pretty much it. And then I moved to Colorado 4 years ago. Were you bullied as a kid? No, I wasn't. I was large. Like I was tall. I was like 6 foot in high school, and I played like baseball and football, but not because I liked sports, just because every adult man that I've ever met was like, "Oh, look at you! You should play sports. You got such a good shoulder. You got such a arm. You should sport more often. You have boy things, you should sport because boys. So I just kind of sported my life, and early on, so I was pretty good at baseball and football. But so I would, I didn't really get bullied because of that, but yeah, we tried to be like cool to the kids that were getting bullied because some of the people that were on my team were doing the bullying. So that was kind of hard, like trying to stay friends and know you're making the wrong decision, but still standing up for them and then getting fighting. So that story, that's the question. You stopped doing shrooms for no, no, I did it one more time. I'll tell you that story later on. Mr. Jackie the Joke Man.
Hello there.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Oh, I could not be much better, my friend.
Oh, that is excellent. For those who don't know, for some reason, this is Jackie the Joke Man Martling. Just the history of comedy himself. I'm very, very happy to meet you, sir. My name is Zach.
No, first of all, we'll drop the sir so you don't make me feel my age.
Okay.
Sir, Jesus Christ, what am I, a British sailor? How you doing?
Listen up, young man. I'm doing very well, thank you very much.
Now you, that's the ticket.
Oh, that's great. Ticket. Yeah, I am absolutely so excited. I was telling a story earlier when I was driving. I would take the bus to high school, and trying to be a young adult. Trying to figure out your place in life. I was really into the Howard Stern show, and I would just tape the Howard Stern show and listen to it all the way home and to school on the bus, and every one of your jokes I would just try to memorize and go to school and tell people because I wanted to get suspended. That's why I would tell your jokes. I wanted to get in trouble. But that's so cool.
There's so many stories. First of all, it's nice to meet you. I think I'm gonna tell you something, and you're gonna be the first person I've told, and you're gonna tell me whether I'm out of my mind. Which is great, and I do not want you to have any qualms about that. Tell me what an idiot I am. But first of all, there's a guy, an incredibly talented animator and cartoonist who is striking it big. Rich Drezen, his name, Drezen. He's just getting married in a couple of months. Real great guy. This is a long story, but you'll identify with this. So I had a radio show called Jackie's Joke Cunt on Sirius XM for 8 years on Howard 101 on Howard's second channel on Sirius XM. And we told filthy, filthy, filthy jokes for 8 years. And everybody loved it. And then Howard pulled the plug. God knows, it's a whole nother book, But there was still was a guy named Max Ash, whose father is the grandson of Sam Ash. Did you ever hear of Sam Ash Musical Instruments?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Well, this is the grandson, whose name is Sam Ash, is in charge of this ridiculously huge musical company. And this is his son, Max. He's 6'6", real great guy. He came on as a guest onto my radio show. And he had with him this girl named Anna Drezen, who was his girlfriend at the time. And she told me that, first of all, I had to really meet her brother because he was a huge fan and he's a great animator. And I'll send you, he made a bunch of cartoon advertisements for my book that are so ridiculously wonderful. But she said to her and him, when they were like 10 and 11 years old or 8 and 9 years old, they stole my Jackie Martling's Disgustingly Dirty Joke book from their father, and they would read the jokes in the bus on the way to camp, and all the kids would go wild, but they had no idea what half the jokes meant. And that was almost their assignment, was for everybody to go home and figure out, what these filthy sexual antics were. And right now, that girl is the head writer of Saturday Night Live. And he, or one of the head writers at Saturday Night Live, and Rich is a famous cartoonist. But we have wrecked I wrecked so many lives. I had a guy come up to me and tell me that my laugh is the first noise he remembers in his life. Because when he's a little kid, now he's a huge salesman for one of these shoe stores, the famous, I don't like clothes, so yeah, whatever, Sam's, whatever you call it. But as a little kid, he'd be in the back seat, and his parents would be listening to Howard Stern show. And of course, he had no idea what anybody was talking about, but he distinctly remembered the.
Yeah. Yeah, that was most of my high school, was memorizing your jokes, knowing they were funny, not really knowing why they were funny, but just knowing they were funny, and
kind of like repeating them in rote, just assuming.
Yeah, it's like everyone I tell this to laughs. My dad laughs when I say these things. This is funny. I know that. Oh, that's so great.
You know, there was my brother-in-law now, but a very good friend for 50 years. Kevin Kelly had a studio in Douglaston where they did a lot of big stuff, and he was in a band that opened for the Bee Gees. He's a great character, but he had a band from Japan that came in to record in his studio, but they were right off the boat. You know, they weren't Japanese music students. They were Japanese band that came and just knew the songs by rote, and they had their own songs, but now they're living in America recording an album at his studio. And they had a drummer, this great, great drummer who everybody knows. And now I'm so old, Zach. John, I'm not going to think of his name. I can't believe the things I forget. You know, what's that thing you do in the morning? Oh, breakfast. You know, so this drummer that was doing drums for this Japanese band, they communicated to him, we want something, say, to girl. So in bar, you know, they wanted to go to a bar and have a drink and try and meet a girl, but they needed like an opening line or something to say. So he taught them to say in rote, I have a nice hanging snack. And these Japanese guys would go up to a girl and say, I have a nice hanging snack. Which is that's basically what you were doing.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's like, please, I'm going to say something. Hit me. I probably deserve to get hit back. That's so great. Yeah, I was. I woke up this morning. I was super excited. I told my wife, I was like, I get to meet Jackie the Joke Man, and she's like, Jackie Marlin, I know 2 things about him. And I'm like, oh, okay. What are those 2 things? And she's like, I know he's born on Valentine's Day. I know we're the exact same height.
How does she know I'm born on Valentine's Day?
I have no idea. But it's funny to me that out of everything that you've done and of all the stuff that you're known for, she just knows your height and the day you're born.
Now I have to tell you a story about that.
Okay.
I was born on Valentine's Day, Jack of Hearts. I'm an Aquarius. I love all that stuff. I don't have any belief whatsoever in any of that bull crap. You know, I'm cynical. I'm a mechanical engineer mind. I don't, you know, but the fact I was born on Valentine's Day and I'm an Aquarius and it's my age, I'll accept that, right? So I get a call one day from this guy, and I answer the phone, and it's a different friend on another friend's phone, but they're not related in any way. I'm like, what are you doing on Paul's phone? He said, I'm with Paul. We're making a movie. And this guy, Paul Bernard, gets on the phone. He says, Jackie, it's a shame you're not here in California. We could put you in the movie. And I said, I am in California. I'm out here for a couple of days. He goes, well, we'll put you in the movie. So I went to Santa Anita Racetrack. And the gig I had was I was playing the boyfriend of the grandmother of the star of the movie. The grandmother of the star of the movie was Florence Henderson from the Brady Bunch. And my role was to make out with her in the background of a scene. So I went to Santa Anita Racetrack and spent a whole afternoon French kissing Mrs. Brady, because they did so many takes from so many angles, and we had so much fun, right? So it was, and they liked me doing it so much that they put another role in for me. I mean, another scene that we're going to film at the Palms Casino in Las Vegas. So this is fun. You know, I'm not making a lot of money, but everybody's going nuts because I'm French kissing Mrs. Brady. I get a phone call, and the guitar player from my rock and roll band in college says, Martling, I can't believe you're in a movie with Mrs. Brady and you guys have the same birthday. And I said, Wicket, it's gay enough that you remember my birthday. How the hell would you know that I had the same birthday as Florence Henderson? He said, well, when we were in the band, whenever it was your birthday, the whole world knew it because that was your excuse to get even extra drunk that night. And then one night I was watching Mike Douglas and Florence Henderson came on Mike Douglas and Mike Douglas said, oh, Florence, you were born on Valentine's Day. And she said, yeah. And I said to myself, oh, same as Martling. And now you're with her. So that's how he knew. So I know that me and Florence Henderson have the same birthday, which means nothing, right? It's so stupid. But I'm armed with this information. We go to the Palms Casino and we're filming. It's called Venus in Vegas. And I think it's on, it might be on Prime or it's Venus ampersand Vegas. Venus in Vegas. Like Joe Rogan is in it and a whole bunch of characters, a whole cast of characters. Like Jamie Lee Presley wasn't famous yet, got famous, and then was out of fame before the thing finally got released. You know, one of those things. It's just an incredible movie. And so I'm armed with this knowledge. So we're doing a scene where we're around the crap table and her partner in crime in this movie is Irene Brennan. I get confused because Irene Ryan was the Beverly Hillbillies' grandmother. So I think Irene Brennan is her road partner in this movie. And Irene Brennan is Sean Penn's mother. Okay, big deal. So they're the two road partners. And we're in between scenes. So we're behind the curtain on the side of the Palms Casino, the crap tables and blah, blah, blah. And we're sitting in the director's chair. And I'm in the middle. And Florence Henderson is here. And Irene Brennan's over here. So we're sitting there and we're killing some time and, conversation, hey, how you doing? Nice weather. So here's my chance. So I go, Florence, we were born on the same day. And she goes, oh, you were born on Valentine's Day? And I said, yeah. And Irene Brennan goes, oh, Sean was born on the same day as Robert De Niro. And Florence Henderson goes, oh, how is Bobby? And I said, yeah, how is Bobby? So all of a sudden, I'm in show business.
Now you know Robert De Niro.
And I finally looked up Robert De Niro and Sean Penn, both, but someday in August, not as famous as Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Is that the stupidest? I got some stupid stories.
No, I love that. It's just so cool the way things just kind of link together. I'm like, no, I'm trying to do this, and then okay, let's just talk about Robert De Niro. Now, when I did some quick research, because I knew we were chatting today, and your TikTok kept showing up. You're kind of popping off on TikTok a little bit.
I try. It's so amazing because when I started in comedy, I worked at this recording studio with that guy, Kevin. And I was a comedian and I had a band. And no, I wasn't a comedian. I was a musician and I had a band and we were playing the whole 70s. And we were really, really fun. We told dirty jokes and played our own music, which just made no sense. Love songs and then a dick joke, but we were so much fun and the people really loved us. And then a girl broke my heart and the owner of the club, we played 2 of his clubs and sold out every night. He was worried I was going to kill myself because I was really upset about this girl. So he decided he's going to back a song so we could go in the studio. And Kevin had a studio. And he also played in a fantastic band on a different night at the same place. So we had a song we played. You listened to Howard Stern show. You must have heard him play the pot song.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Well, we went in to record the pot song because it was so popular with our crowds. We would do 5 encores. Roll up the reefer. We'll have some illegal pot. And the crowd would go berserk. So we went in to record that. And in the course of doing that, I realized that making a record is like baking a cake. any moron can have a record. You just need a song, and you need some instruments, and you need a few dollars to go in and record it, and a few pictures, and you send it, and you get back a record. You know, I mean, it's that stupid, but nobody knows that. So I raised $100 from everybody I knew, and put together this album. And I have no idea what we're talking about. Where did we start?
It was
So I made my own record. I recorded it at a gig on a cassette recorder with house microphones. I edited with a razor blade on a 2-track tape, like in the dinosaur years, and raised money and made a record. So I had a record that I was selling at my gigs 6 months after I became a comedian. Because I was telling these, I'm not a comic, I tell dirty jokes, but I've been telling these dirty jokes since I was in 2nd grade, 1st grade. And everybody laughs at every joke because they're not just out of the blue. These are jokes I've been telling my whole life, and I know they're funny, and that's why I'm laughing at them. And if you want to laugh, go ahead. But if you don't want to, I don't care, because I know they're funny. And so I was way ahead of the curve technically. And then it just went flying by me. Now it's everything I can do to turn on a computer. And if I had just kept up, God, it makes me crazy. When I was in college in 1966, one of the courses I had to take in mechanical engineering was Computer Science 101. It was called Fortran, and you used cards, like actual index cards, a stack this long to say hello. And I set the curve on the course on Computer Science 101. I was an A+ out of all the A+. That's how high I was. And then I started drinking and started getting laid and forgot. If I had stuck with that, I'd probably be the president of IBM. But of course, that's another story. But I was very technically aware, and then I lost it. Now, the whole Facebook thing and all that crap, when Facebook came out, I opened Facebook, and of course, this is right at the height of my popularity in Stern Show, and they're like, all these people want to be your friend. So I just clicked check all, and I instantly had 5,000 friends. And then they said, sorry, you're full. Nobody said anything about there was a limit. Now I got friends that want to be my friend on Facebook, and I can't let them in, because if you delete somebody, they're going to tell that story for the rest of their life. That scumbag Jackie Marlin deleted me. So I said, Facebook, that's ridiculous. So I couldn't keep up with that. I couldn't keep up with this. And at some point, a guy who I'd known forever was in Phoenix, and he's got a couple radio stations. He says, listen, why don't you do some jokes for me? And I had done jokes in every different way for so many radio stations, and it's always fun. And then, then the general managers change and you get booted out. It's just crazy. And I said to this guy, all right, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do one joke a day. And I can't believe another radio station hasn't picked up. The pandemic threw a monkey wrench into everything, which I'm sure you know. It turned everybody upside down. And but just before that, I said to the guy, look, I've done 3 jokes. I've done 20 jokes. What we're going to do, we'll do one joke a day. Oh, a hair in my mouth. Must have been a good night. So I said, we'll do one joke a day. Jackie's 420 joke. People know at 420, I'm going to tell one joke. So they don't have to worry about remembering, because people try to remember all of them and then remember none of them. Just remember one joke. And then they could go to their friend and say, here's a joke. And the friend will say, oh, where'd you hear that? Oh, Jackie's 420 joke on WZZZZ. And we all win. So I did that for like 5 months. But instead of doing just audio, I did an iPhone video, because it's the easiest way to do things and send things. I said, what the hell? I said, I'll send it to you. You can use the audio on the radio, but if you want to use the video on your website for the radio station, you win double. He says, fine. So for 5 months, I did these, and I had these iPhone videos, like 200 jokes or something like that. And then the pandemic hit and wiped him out. Then this whole TikTok thing happens, and I don't really know what's going on. And the girls showing their boobs and the guys standing on their heads and people throwing babies off cliffs. And I'm like, what garbage, you know? And then I realized, wait a minute. My jokes are perfect for this stupid format because they're video and they're clean enough for, you got to be clean on TikTok. I don't know how it works because then you see somebody, you see people being filthy. But you don't want to ask a lot of questions because you don't want people to look at you too close. Because the jokes I did for radio were as dirty as you could be without being dirty, just like the old Stern Show. That's what was so fun is people say, oh, you guys were so filthy. I said, we were never dirty. You couldn't be. And the fact that we stomped the line, that's what made, I always say us, that's what made Howard so funny. So I started putting these jokes on TikTok, one joke at a time, and they're like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, however long. And people started, and when somebody would listen to one, they say, wow, that wasn't bad. And then they'll go back and listen to a couple more. So each time somebody listened to one and liked it, they go back and listen to more. And I started getting a little naughtier and a little naughtier. And it just started gaining steam. And all of a sudden, one of my jokes all of a sudden has 100,000 views. And all of a sudden, it has 300,000 views. That one's up to 650,000 views. I don't make a penny from any of this, of course. I don't even advertise. I don't say I'm Jackie Martling or go to jokeland.com. None of that crap. Oh, I want to tell people if you want to try the jokes, it's tiktok.com/@Jackie Martling. Now, I don't know why the @ has to be in there, but it has to be there. You never get there. tiktok.com/@Jackie Martling. So I'm getting naughtier and naughtier, and I'm not really advertising, and I'm just putting it different places. Like when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to David Feldman. I just called him yesterday for the first time. I call this guy, and I tell I'll send it to you, Zach. You'll die. I tell the filthiest, most outrageous, most disgusting jokes. And he's got this incredible liberal podcast, which has all brilliant people on it. And it's so smart and hip. And then he has this moron telling dick jokes, but they go crazy for it. And then I call him the radio shows, and I call Mark Simone. It's funny. I'm a total liberal, and Mark Simone might as well be up Trump's ass. But I call his show because he's #1 show in New York. Like, hey, I'm not proud. I've known the guy for 40 years. We're best friends. This is in the old days. Remember, you used to talk about pussy and getting drunk. You didn't talk about who's president. Who cared, And so I've known him since before this whole crazy hate you, I hate you, you hate me thing. And so that's how I got into this whole TikTok thing. And my world record right now, about 3 or 4 jokes ago, I told a joke and I'm up to 870,000 views.
Oh my
so
goodness.
I need you to tell everybody. I need everybody else to tell everybody because I want to break 1 million views. I think that'd be a big deal,
Yeah, of course. That's a huge deal. That's amazing.
And it's a wonderfully filthy joke. And it's so funny. My family knows my act so well that my family talks to me by punchlines. My niece and nephew gave me for Christmas a set of 8 bread plates, and each one has a different punchline. After all these years, my act is the same. It's the same fantastic jokes. I mean, to break it up, I'm not going to go up and tell an audience anything that's less than the cream of the cream, So I didn't mean to go so long, but the TikTok thing is really fun, and it's so easy to promote, and it's not dirty. It's so funny. I got 2 things to tell you. All right, I'm going to shut up and find out about you. Where are you from?
I live in Colorado, Boulder, Colorado.
Is that where you're from?
I'm from Elkton, Maryland.
Sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Where? Elkton, Maryland. I forgot Maryland was there. Now, where is that? Is it near the shore?
It touches Newark, Delaware, if that helps you out at all. It is. It's on the northeastern part of the state. Yeah, it's in that tri-state area with Delaware, Maryland, Jersey.
What's the shoreline place that is popular in Maryland?
I mean Chesapeake Bay, but there's Ocean City.
Ocean City. That's what I'm thinking about. I had a gig in Ocean City, Maryland, and I had to pick up the middle act at Howard Johnson's, and we would drive down. There's a place called Charm City. Oh, that's Baltimore. Baltimore's Maryland.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So I'm in the right ballpark. This place called Charm City. I'm going to pick up the opening act, and we're going to go to Charm City and do 2 shows on Friday and 2 shows on Saturday. I pick her up. They're doing construction on the Jersey Turnpike. Who ever heard of construction on a Friday on the only major thoroughfare going south? So we're so late for the first show that the owner had to send everybody home, refund all the money. He was so pissed off. It was unbelievable. And the girl was so pissed off. She wanted to kill me. It was Rosie O'Donnell. But what could I do? It wasn't my fault. I'm not going to go 7 hours early to Baltimore. So Charm said, yeah, but that was a great gig right on the water, right there. There's like boats in the harbor.
Yeah, the Inner Harbor, yeah.
Like Revolutionary War boats and stuff like that. So now you live in Colorado. I was just in Montana with my cousin who used to have a very famous restaurant in Boulder called Around the Corner. And I actually lived in Denver for 6 months. It was the only job I ever had that wasn't show business, that was enough to tell me, however low a job I have in show business, I'm not doing anything else. I worked construction for 6 months, and it was like, that's a whole book. So one day I'm going to trap you and tell you that story. But in 1973, there was a help wanted ad in every store in Denver. It was growing like pop, 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 pop. But Boulder, that's good. And that's where you are right now?
Yep.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
It is gorgeous here. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Wow. So are you a comic?
I do some stand-up. Yeah, mostly I'm just like a podcaster and I'm a writer.
So when you say podcaster, does that mean you have a podcast, or you go on a lot of podcasts, or you make out with podcasters? What do you do?
Literally all of those. I'll make out with podcasters. I have about 15 different podcasts, and I do a lot of writing and producing for others.
Wait, whoa. What do you mean you have? You podcasts that you work for or that work for you?
Mostly work for me, or I do myself, yeah.
So if I have a podcast, you could put it on your...
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
But I don't know the hierarchy of how it works. We're just about to start the 3rd season of our podcast. Mm-hmm. And the great thing about it, it doesn't compete with anyone because it's called Stand Up Memories. And it's me and another guy just telling, you could call them bullshit stories. They're bullshit stories that are true.
Yeah.
They're sometimes hard to believe stories. But me and this guy started out together, you know, with like Seinfeld and Murphy and Paul Reiser and all these characters, you know, in 1979 at the comic strip in New York City and Fort Lauderdale. And it's just so much fun. I would love you to look at one, you know.
I would love to, yeah.
No, but do you have a main one that you do?
So I do fictional ones. But the one that I do the most is called Talking Upstream. And that's where I find my favorite movie creators or writers, and then I pitch them an idea, and then we work on an idea together. That's like my main one, but I do fictional ones. Like I have one called Silicon Angels, where it's the phone calls of people calling in a sex robot shop because their sex robots are broken. So they need to get their sex robots fixed.
You know what? I really am Rip Van Winkle. I really have been asleep for 20 years. Who's got a sex robot, or is this totally fictional?
Oh, this is all fiction. This is all fake.
Oh, shit. I was all excited for a second.
Yeah. I mean, I'll send you a sex robot if you want one. I can find one.
You could. You remember we had a thing called the Real Doll on the
Yeah, of
Stern
course.
Show?
The Real Doll, yeah.
Do you remember what happened with that?
No.
A guy sent, you know, I try to talk about you, and I wind up not talking about me, but talking about
Well, I mean, I'm here for you, so let's talk about you.
So So a guy sent a letter. Gary came and said, look at this, Howard. This guy said that he makes gummies that are like real, and he makes women. And he said he'll make us a woman real doll. And there was a checklist, you know, how tall, what cup size, how much does she weigh? You designed a woman. And so we all together sat there, and Howard designed a woman, and Gary sent it in. And a couple months later, Gary comes in and says, Howard, it's here. The real doll's arrived. And there's a big crate. And Howard said, well, we'll open it up tomorrow on the air. Now, nobody remembers this, but it was so classic. Howard left. He always ran right out. And I'd hang around, fooling around with Fred. Fred stayed there for an extra 3 hours getting ready for the next day. And I'm breaking balls and having fun. And it looked like a casket, a big pine box, you know, big, like a casket. And we opened it up and looked at it. And there's this really realistic 5'3" girl. We had chose a French maid outfit, right? And I said to Scott Einziger, who was the main guy at the E Channel. Remember the E Channel, the TV show? I said, get an actress and dress her up like this and put her in the box. He's like, oh, I can't do that. I said, listen, I will take the heat. It's just between us. So he got a live girl to dress like that, and we put her in the casket. And when the next day I was, you know, Howard, what should I do? So go ahead, roll her in. And Gary rolled her in, and they took the top off, and the fucking girl stood up, sat up. And Howard and Robin almost had a heart attack, like Belushi, when the remember the horse had a heart attack. It was the most classic, and everybody right with Jackie. It was Jackie's idea. It was Jackie's idea. But it was just absolute. But the girl was absolutely gorgeous. And now they say they make them, but they're real, and you can make out with them and everything. I think that's so funny.
Yeah, they can get in.
Nobody's really made a movie like that yet, right? Have they?
Not that I know of. But yeah, like I thought, like I was like, well, these sex robots are going to become like a big thing soon. So I would assume they're going to start breaking down. And if they're breaking down, somebody's got to fix them. And I do not want to hear those phone calls. That was like the precipice of my joke.
That is so funny. You know, and I don't know what happened to this. About 10 years ago, at least 10 years ago, a very, very rich friend, so long ago that Jerry Cooney, the boxer, do you remember Jerry Cooney?
Yeah.
The great white dope. They
Yeah.
called him such a sweetheart of a guy. He had a big charity, and this guy came up to me at his charity. He said, you really should know me. I'm really rich. I'm a big fan, and we'll have fun. So I got to know this guy, and I like him. And he had just invested in this thing where, all right, guys watch porno, right? This thing somehow, not like a video game, but it was a thing where you actually put your dick in some kind of a hole or a sleeve. And so when you're watching a porno, you could have sex with the girl. I mean, it's a whole crazy thing. And obviously it didn't go anywhere because I haven't seen him in 10 years. But he invested a lot of money in this thing. And I was thinking, that's the kind of thing that you think in a year, it's going to be a common thing. Like 1 minute there's a video game, and next thing you know, first there was Pong, and then, so, but I don't know what happened to that. But I'm sure that there's all kinds of crazy robots. That's a funny premise.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, like, these guys that have these dolls are probably not very nice to these dolls. And then when they break, they got to call somebody and explain what they did to this thing. And if it's like a woman on the line that has to get the call, I was like, that is so funny. Now,
I know that you know this because you're miles ahead of me. But there are thousands of guys, at least in China or Japan, that have relationships with cyber relationships with women. Yeah. I mean, that's their partner, but it's not a woman. It's what's it called when it's a cyber, when it's a fake person on the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
An image of you.
A virtual, yeah.
A virtual image. But they pay a lot of money for these things. And, I guess she doesn't talk back, you know.
I mean, that to me, that's the only reason people have those things. Is like, I don't want something that talks back, and I can't find a dead body. I guess.
But that you know, the best thing, 5 minutes of peace and quiet. You know that old joke. So, but the whole thing, but that's always the next step after. You know, like it's in having a robot girlfriend is not a great premise, but calling in to get it repaired, that's brilliant. I hail you. Now, I got a friend that was the head writer of Letterman for like 10 years. I'm sure he'd love to call you and you pitch him an idea and come up with something.
I have infinite ideas like that, and I would love to talk to anybody about any of them. So
I got 3 ridiculously great ideas for movies. Me and you will talk. I don't know.
I would love that.
Do we talk? If you talk here, then the whole world hears.
Yeah,
right?
we'll talk afterwards. I'll get your info from Matt, and we'll chat. We'll definitely
now.
chat.
What is Zach at some underlying nobodies?
Yeah, some nobodies is my company. That's the company that does all of our weird podcasts and internet shows. And
but do you get emails there?
Yes, yeah.
No,
Zach,
no. You send me an email. Or your text me so I'm in touch with you.
Oh, absolutely. I will definitely do that.
We'll have some fun. So here's my question out of many. So you said you do stand-up shows?
Sure. Yep.
In Boulder?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't in a while because of the pandemic, but yeah, I definitely have. Yeah.
It's beautiful. I need an excuse to come out there. I know when I lived in Denver, we had so much fun. Oh my God. Holy Christ.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun here. And now that things are opening back up and people are, more comfortable with going out, there's more comedy shows going on. So it's gonna start. But yeah, you should definitely come back. Denver, it's a fun time.
Yeah. And back in the 90s, I sold out a couple times. I sold out at the State Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Is that in Denver?
That's close. Heard of that? Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Do you know? There were huge fans. There's huge fans everywhere. And I met so many wild people. They were more Howard fans than Jackie fans, but I was the connection. And a lot of them like me too. When I was out there, these people had a glass blowing company and they were huge potheads. And they gave me this slab that looked like an oversized Hershey bar and about 3 times as thick. But it was bright green. And I'd never seen anything. It was like a big, huge slab of hash, but it was green. And they said it was called Keith. And I had never heard of it. And I got it home. And it's stuff that you take a little scrapings off it and put it on a joint. And you go to Pluto. And that thing must have lasted us for years because we were afraid of it because it was so crazy. And these same guys gave me this glass blown pipe that I didn't even take a picture of. And I'm still angry at myself. It was an incredible, when people make a ship in a bottle, it was a bong, only inside the bong was Howard's head.
Oh.
But an actual 3D head in different color glass. And it was an exact replica of him in blown colored glass. The thing was unbelievable. And I somehow got it home in one piece and gave it to him. I'm sure he either threw it away or it's packed away. So I'm sure he never used it or even looked at it. And I'm thinking if I had that now, I could have sold it for $150,000, but it was so beautiful. I never even heard of anybody doing anything like that before, like doing images inside the glass in a bong. I mean, who would have that kind of money? But these guys were such fans. If by any chance any of you guys are out there and you see this, get a hold of me. I just want to laugh with you because it's so funny.
Yeah, I'll look for it. But yeah, they definitely they've continued that tradition here. There's a lot of glass blowers. There's a lot.
Oh, is that right? Is that right?
Yeah, a lot of beautiful art down here. And it's all geared around some green stuff. So yeah, that definitely makes sense. We got to get out of here pretty soon. Matt told me I got to leave at 45. But I did have a couple questions for you, if that's okay. So like Howard Stern and you know, your comedy really sculpted like my high school with how I wanted to tell jokes and how I wanted to deliver punchlines, and I thought that that was beautiful. And then you know, you jump all the way to, let's say, 2001. I know that's when you kind of were at the end of Howard Stern, but for me, you know, just a normal person, 9/11, right? My daughter was 4 years old, and it was the Howard Stern show that got me through such a traumatic event, because, you know, I woke up and I took her to school, and, you know, then all that happened, and we just listened to Howard Stern.
You were in Maryland at the time.
I was in Delaware at the time of 9/11.
Right.
Yeah, but very close to Maryland. But and then it was that day that really, it really kind of put it together that, you know, you and Howard and Robin really raised me from being like a 12-year-old to being a man during a very traumatic, historic time.
You know what's weird? I was so ingrained with that show, and people knew me so well. I left 6 months before 9/11, but everybody in their memory remembers me being there during 9/11. And I wasn't. I was long gone, but Artie hadn't joined yet. They had tried a whole bunch of different people in my seat. So in their mind, I was still there. You know, it's very funny because after 9/11, I mean, I'm sure it was traumatic and crazy where you were, but New York City, Long Island, the place was like, I mean, nobody smiled for weeks or months. And I actually wrote that, you know, a couple months after I was off the show, I was in withdrawals, not for fame, not for money, but it's so weird to sit with 4 people and laugh for 5 hours a day. You don't realize it's your life. And all of a sudden that's gone. And I was like, oh man. And I wrote to Howard and said, listen, if the offer's still there, I will love to come back on the show. And he never even answered me. Him and Tom just didn't even answer. And the fans were crawling up the woodwork, get Jackie back, get Jackie back. And he was like, he was glad to see me gone. And that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But after 9/11, Clinton and Al Gore, who almost were going to go have a duel and kill each other, they were so hated each other so much. All of a sudden, there was photos of them sitting in church together, holding hands, trying to give some glimmer of hope. And I wrote to Howard and said, you know what? This may sound pompous, but I think it would really uplift the spirits of people in New York, even a tiny bit, if I was reunited with the show and we were laughing again. I really think people would like that. And I wasn't just being pompous. I really meant that. You know, like it would be a little bit of normalcy or whatever you call it. And he just wrote back and said, thanks, but no thanks. We're not politicians. We're comedians, which I thought was so stupid. But
yeah, I mean, there was
he handled it really, according to everybody. He handled it so perfectly. It made people at a little bit at rest, you know.
Yeah, I don't remember anything that, you know, any quotes or anything that you know, anyone said per se. It was just the feeling of they're here during this, and in my mind, you were a part of that also. So whether you know, I know you weren't there for 9/11, but I mean, just that span of time in my life, which I have valued and has made me the man that I am, and that's partly because of you. So thank you very much. But my question really was like, you know, as a comedian, when you go through terrible times like 9/11 or the start of the pandemic, like when do you know, hey, it's okay to start joking about this, or it's okay to start laughing again?
You see, my thing is that I'm not a comedian. I'm a joke teller. I've told jokes my entire life, and it is always time for a joke. You know, not about what's going on, but my jokes aren't about what's going on. My jokes are about sex and puke and vomit and crap and going down on the girl. You know, they're just this whole non-entity. And with me, it's not which jokes are all right. It's just, when is it okay to laugh? And the truth is, it really is always okay to laugh, which is very strange. You know what Joan Rivers said? The day after 9/11, Joan Rivers called up a girlfriend and said, do you want to go for lunch at Windows on the Ground? I mean, you know, it couldn't get any darker than that.
Yeah, true.
What are you going to do if you don't laugh? You know?
Yeah.
So me, I've just told jokes and you know, or made fun of people. You know, it's just an innate thing to know. But with me, I didn't have to worry about when it's all right to screw with the Republicans or the gays or the whatever.